There is a certain comfort in the familiar steam of a morning bowl of oats, a ritual many of us have carried through the decades as a hallmark of a responsible, heart-healthy lifestyle. You sit down at the kitchen table, perhaps watching the morning light catch the steam, trusting that this simple grain will provide the steady fuel you need for a walk or a morning of errands. But as you move past 60, you might notice a strange shift in how this ritual actually makes you feel, where a meal that once kept you full until lunch now leaves you feeling unexpectedly heavy or foggy within the hour. It is a quiet, confusing experience that can make you feel as though your own body is rewriting the rules of nutrition behind your back, leaving you wondering why a perfect breakfast is suddenly missing the mark. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why oatmeal spikes and crashes your system differently after 60, and what you can do to reclaim the steady, reliable energy you deserve. We are going to move beyond the simple labels of healthy to look at the unique way your internal chemistry responds to starch and sugar in this new season of life. Our goal is to provide you with a grounded, clear perspective that turns your morning meal back into a source of strength rather than a source of fatigue. Have you ever felt like you were following all the standard senior health tips, yet your energy levels still felt like they were on an unpredictable roller coaster? That feeling is not a sign that you are doing something wrong, but rather a signal that your body is asking for a more nuanced approach to its primary fuel. There is a profound sense of empowerment that comes with moving past the "why is this happening" and arriving at a practical, science-backed solution that respects your current needs. To understand this shift, we have to look at the two main drivers of our energy after 60: our glucose response and our insulin sensitivity. Glucose is the simple sugar your body creates when it breaks down carbohydrates like oats, and insulin is the key that unlocks your cells so they can use that sugar for energy. In our younger years, this system worked with remarkable speed and precision, clearing the sugar from our blood almost as fast as the oatmeal could provide it. But as the decades pass, our insulin keys can become a bit less effective, and our muscles, which act as the main storage tanks for that sugar, naturally change in their capacity. When we eat a large bowl of starch, even a whole grain like oats, and on an empty stomach, the glucose enters the bloodstream at a pace that can sometimes overwhelm our current insulin response. This creates a sharp rise in blood sugar, which the body tries to correct with a surge of insulin, often leading to a rebound crash where your sugar levels dip lower than they were before you ate. This crash is the physical reason behind that mid-morning slump, the sudden craving for a snack, or the feeling that you need a nap just to get through the noon hour. By acknowledging this biological change, we can stop blaming our willpower and start adjusting our plate to support a much smoother metabolic curve. In addition to the speed of digestion, we have to consider the modern nature of the oats we find on most grocery shelves today. Even old-fashioned oats have often been steamed and rolled so thin that the body can break them down into sugar almost as quickly as a piece of white bread. For a metabolism after 60, these processed grains lack the structural breaks needed to prevent a rapid glucose spike. This is why many of us feel a sense of food confusion, as we are eating a food labeled as a whole grain, yet our bodies are reacting to it as if it were a simple sugar. Which brings us to a pattern that many of us recognize in our own daily routines, often during those busy mornings when we are trying to be efficient. Imagine you've prepared a quick bowl of instant oats with a bit of honey or a sliced banana, believing you've made the best choice for your heart. By the time you finish your second cup of coffee, you notice a strange, jittery feeling, followed shortly by a heavy, clouding fatigue that makes it hard to focus on your morning reading. This isn't just a bad day, it is a physiological response to a breakfast that was composed almost entirely of high-speed carbohydrates without any structural support. When we understand this, we can move toward the structuring of a balanced senior breakfast. We want the fiber and heart benefits of the oats, and we need the energy they provide, but they are hitting our system too fast for our current insulin sensitivity, so we must learn the art of buffering our grains. Buffering is the practice of surrounding your carbohydrates with the two nutrients that naturally slow down the absorption of sugar, protein, and healthy fats. When you add a scoop of Greek yogurt, a handful of walnuts, or some chia seeds to your bowl, you are effectively creating a safety net for your blood sugar. The fat and protein act as a biological speed bump, ensuring the glucose enters your blood as a slow, steady stream rather than a rushing tide. This simple adjustment transforms the oatmeal from a spike and crash food into a long burn fuel that sustains your brain and your muscles for hours. Have you noticed how much more resilient and patient you feel when your energy levels remain steady from breakfast all the way to lunch? That emotional stability is one of the most immediate benefits of a balanced glucose response. It allows you to stay present in your activities and your conversations without the distracting noise of a crashing metabolism. When we care for our blood sugar, we are ultimately caring for the quality of our entire morning experience. In addition to what we add to the oats, we also have to consider the order in which we eat our breakfast. New research into senior health tips suggests that starting your meal with a bit of protein or fiber, perhaps a few bites of eggs or some nuts, can significantly dampen the glucose response of the oats that follow. It's as if you are preparing the digestive tract with a protective layer, allowing the system to handle the carbohydrates with much more grace and efficiency. This food sequencing is a powerful, invisible tool that requires no change in what you love to eat, only a small shift in the order of the ceremony. Which leads us to a broader reflection on the nature of healthy foods as we age. The term healthy is not a permanent label, but a relationship between a food and your body's current ability to process it. Oatmeal is still a wonderful food, but its role in your life has evolved from a standalone fuel to a team player grain. By embracing this shift, you are practicing a form of senior wisdom that values function and feeling over rigid, outdated rules. Have you ever felt a sense of clarity when you realized that you didn't have to give up a favorite food but simply had to reintroduce it to your system with a bit more care? That clarity is the foundation of a sustainable and joyful lifestyle. It removes the stress of restriction and replaces it with the confidence of informed choices. You are the expert on how you feel, and that feeling is the most reliable guide you have for your nutritional journey. Another factor that changes our response to oatmeal is the natural decline in our muscle density as we move through our 60s. Muscles are the primary sink for glucose. They are the destination where most of that oatmeal sugar is supposed to go. And if we haven't been engaging in regular resistance movement, our sink becomes a bit smaller, meaning the sugar from the oats stays in the blood longer, placing more demand on our insulin. By combining a balanced breakfast with gentle movement, like a short walk after eating, we can help our muscles soak up that glucose, further smoothing out our energy curve. Which brings us to a moment many of us share, often involving a visit to the doctor for a routine checkup. You receive a lab result showing your fasting glucose is just a few points higher than it used to be, and your first instinct is to double down on low-fat grains like plain oatmeal. But after 2 weeks of this, you find yourself feeling more tired and hungrier than ever before, and you begin to wonder if you're just getting old. This is the fatigue trap of a high-carb, low-protein diet, where the body is stuck in a cycle of spikes and crashes that never allows for true satiety. When we realize that adding a bit of healthy fat or protein is actually the key to managing that glucose number, the trap disappears. We move from a state of quiet worry into a state of active, tactical self-care. We begin to see our meals as a form of support for our circulation, our brain health, and our long-term independence. And as we find our steady state, the fear of the lab report is replaced by the joy of having reliable energy for our favorite people and projects. Have you noticed how your mood and your outlook seem to brighten when you aren't fighting through a mid-morning fog? That brightness is the natural result of a well-supported metabolism. It gives you the room to be the person you want to be, with the patience and the focus that your life deserves. When we prioritize our metabolic steadiness, we are truly leveling up our quality of life. In addition to the physical benefits, there is a profound mental peace that comes with ending the energy war within your own body. You stop seeing your appetite as an enemy to be controlled and start seeing it as a partner that needs the right resources. This shift in perspective is a vital part of aging well, as it fosters a sense of harmony and respect for the vessel that has carried you through every decade. Your body is a remarkable adaptive system, and it is capable of incredible resilience when given the right balance of fuel. As you look toward your next breakfast, Try to think of your oats as the guest of honor who needs a few chaperones to ensure the party stays under control. Try adding a tablespoon of almond butter, some hemp hearts, or even a side of soft scrambled eggs to your morning routine. Pay attention to how your body responds over the next 2 hours, looking for that feeling of being satisfied but light. These small, gentle observations are the most powerful tools in your Senior Health Tips toolkit. You have the agency and the wisdom to navigate these changes with grace and confidence. By understanding why oatmeal hits differently now, you've cleared a path toward a much more stable and vibrant daily experience. You are providing your system with the exact reinforcement it needs to stay steady, sharp, and ready for the day ahead. And you are doing it all with a commitment to your own lasting vitality and strength. Nourishment after 60 is not about following a map that was drawn for someone else. It is about learning to read the terrain of your own life. When we move away from fear and toward understanding, our relationship with food becomes a source of genuine empowerment. The journey isn't about being perfect, it's about being well supported and deeply informed. And that support starts with the very next bowl you prepare in the quiet of your own kitchen. Every day is another chance to care for the body that's carried you this far. Keep learning, keep moving, keep believing in your own strength. Because aging isn't slowing down, it's leveling up. If today's message resonated, take a moment to subscribe, leave a thought in the comments, or share this video with someone who could use a little encouragement. Because together, we're proving that aging well isn't the exception, it's the standard.